is a hand that can get you into trouble a lot, and as I was doing quite well, I decided to take a flop. And as I said, I was still quite new to this table. That's a dream flop for ace queen. I check behind, there's nothing going on really apart from the trips, so try and disguise my hand as best I can, and obviously ace queen at this stage is quite a well disguised hand. They're probably not putting me on that. They check round. I can't check round twice because I'm just missing value. If they haven't got anything by now, they're probably not going to have anything come the river. So I bet a little bit more than half pot to make it look like a little bit of a steal, but no action, which is a shame. Just a little hand here. I've started filming this halfway through the hand. It was blind versus blind. I think I just limped Jack 9 because I didn't want to play out of position, but I wanted to see a flop top pair and a gut shot and a backdoor flush draw. It's obviously good for a raise, and he folds, which is going to happen a lot of the time. Pair of threes in the cutoff. You can't, in my opinion, you can't limp really from the hijack onwards. Like, I don't like limping in general. I rarely do it, but threes is not a hand you're particularly happy to raise with. But once it comes to you in the cutoff, you're not just going to fold threes. So I raise, and I think, having watched this back once, this guy disconnects, and I have a nice 90-second wait to see if I get to flop a set of threes or if he folds, because those were the only two options at this stage. I should have edited this out really. But yeah, just going back to that king's hand, I think that's one of the few hands in this tournament that I actually misplayed. I look back through the hand history, and obviously looking back at this, that's a raise, that's a bet on the river, but I don't think I was getting called by sixes anyway. I just complete from the button limps, which is really strange. This is a really strange hand. The button limps, which is never really a good play in my book, but once he limps, you can't really have him on that strong a hand. It's a good flop for my hand. I mean, I flop the flush draw, which is almost always good. He bets pot, which is strange, so I call with the plan of any 8, any jack, any spade, any diamond being good. Checks the turn where I pick up a gut shot, which I make on the river. I don't figure him having a strong hand here, so I figure him having a 7, so I bet quite big to make it look like a bluff, and he calls, and we get paid off, and I think he showed up with ace 8, so he flop trips, limping ace 8 on the button is bad, betting pot on that flop's pretty bad. It was all really strange play, but that was a nice pot to win. King Queen of diamonds in the hijack is obviously a raise. I got a lot of hands in the hijack that I raised actually, just noticing that looking back at it, but they all folded. Guy raises quite a short stack under the gun. He min raises, which is, from my experience, well, actually I can't really talk about my experience in a tournament like this, but on the whole it's either a really big hand or a really vulnerable pair. But I bet 3-bet, and he folds, which is strange. Min raising under the gun and folding, especially with that stack, is kind of weird. But I guess we take down a decent pop pre-flop, which is nice. I don't actually think anything comes of this hand here. I think Jules folds. I actually think I edited some of this hand out. Maybe I don't. I guess I don't. There you go. Oh, I got a walk. Wow, why did I put that in? This is a hand that I took a different line with. Queen's in the big blind. Under the gun, who was fairly tight raised. I was quite new to this table, so saying fairly tight, I hadn't really seen him play a hand. He played 1, I think. The small blind calls out of position, and it's the first hand that he's called with. So I go to raise with my queens, but I decide against it because of the under the gun raise and the call. So I try to see if I can flop a decent, get a decent flop, and also protect myself the times he has a bigger hand than I do. But as I said, my hand's really well disguised at this point. It's a good flop, and I check with the aim to check raise, but they both check, so I bet about half pot on the turn, I think a little bit more, and I think they both folded. I'm trying to think what he could raise under the gun with and not c-bet a flop with. I guess it's something like ace-king, maybe a pair of sevens or something. But yeah, kind of a weird line from me, but it disguised my hand and also protected me, as I said, from times he's got a bigger hand than I do. I'm not really I don't really remember what I do here. Nothing good. Oh, this was a really frustrating hand. I pick up a pair of sixes and a fairly standard. I was getting moved around a lot. I couldn't build up great profiles on players, but he raised, and I called with the sixes, which is fairly standard, but it's sort of set mining, I guess. Well, it is, which isn't brilliant. That's not a great flop. It's not a terrible flop. I mean, the times they have overcards to the 10, that happens quite a lot, but they check it around. I could bet the flop, but I decided to keep the pot small. The turn brings a third diamond, which isn't a good card despite me having a diamond. I was probably going to consider calling the first bet, just for the times that a 7 peels off. Also, if a 6 comes on the river, my hand's probably good. It might not be, but I was going to reevaluate the river. But once I get the call in front of me, my hand's no good. Technically, the best card in the deck comes up on the river. A non-diamond 7. Another min bet. And this guy calls him. And it's a really strange value bet from King 4. So I folded the best hand. I would have made a crushingly best hand on the river. He had ace queen. It was just really weird play from the other two. But I guess that was just kind of frustrating. I think this is just me looking back at the hands I had while I was at the table. I was a little bit card dead for a period of time. I guess that's what this was proving. I don't really know what that's there. Calling the big blind with 9-7 of hearts to take a flop from a fairly tight player. I kind of hoped he'd have an overpair, and I had a lot of implied odds, obviously. If I hit a good flop with 9-7 suited, and I get the best flop possible with 9-7 suited, really, well, 5 of hearts instead of the 4 of diamonds would be nice, but I just put him all in, because I don't want to just flat, or just raise and have him call, and then the turn comes like the ace of clubs, and I have to put it in when I'm quite a long way behind, so I just shove, and he folds. King Queen. I raise that from middle position. I don't really mind it. It's maybe no, I think it's fine. Oh, this hand was annoying actually. I flop top pair, second kicker, but he just shoves with a pair of 9s. It's disgusting play from him. Turn 2 pair, and we split, which is annoying because that was quite a decent sized pot. Considering it, I'm still about average at this stage. I have no idea what this hand is. Oh, I think this was me just showing. Oh yeah, this is just funny, that's all this was. He flops a straight flush, that was it. He got it in crushed and flopped a straight flush. I thought it was quite funny. I raise ace 3 from the cut-off, just hoping to take the blinds at this stage. Blinds are fairly big. And it's a nice thing to add to my stack. I get a call, flop top pair, backdoor flush draw. Obviously need to c-bet this. I do for 1,100, which is just over half the pot. And I think he folds, which I'm happy with, because I don't want to have him raise me, because then my hand's almost always not good. Oh, this was messy, actually. This is what cost me a lot of chips. This guy here had raised I've been here for 5 orbits, and he'd raised my big blind every time. I picked up ace 3. It's a good pot to play back at. I played back at him for 3 times his raise, and he shoved on me. And my hand's almost always dead. And this was the hand that my dreams of 125,000 went up in smoke. Queens to win a pot to put me just about into clear the bubble position. A6 got him crushed. He flops 2 pair and river's a boat. And I had 470. And I think that just disappeared.